Welcome back to the Jungle Gardeners. Today we're featuring a featured creature in the garden, one of my little culprits for digging damage, but not the only one. This is the eastern spotted skunk, and it is currently under my air conditioning unit. I spotted it running about between pineapple plants and then under my avocado tree, so I followed it from a distance to see what it was doing, and then once it ran under the air conditioning unit, I came over to watch it, see what it's doing down there. And it doesn't seem to mind me watching. It seems to be chewing on seashells, chewing on an old dried out avocado skin, and an old dried out avocado pit. It has plenty of opportunity to escape and get out from under the air conditioning unit. It's staying here by choice. I'm keeping my distance. And it's just a curious little creature, native eastern spotted skunk. I think it's threatened if I remember correctly. But these are omnivores, so it'll eat insects, small mammals and reptiles and birds if it can get to them. And it'll make a little den and have babies, but they also use tortoise burrows, and we have a lot of gopher tortoises out here making burrows. But this is the corner of the yard it's been active in recently. I've noticed a lot of digging, and this is who's been digging over here. Also tossing around my plants in my greenhouse, and now I can't be mad, because how can you be mad at that face? Seems to be itchy. Might have some little skunk fleas. Hey, buddy. What you doing there, little buddy? Hi. Hi. So, these guys are pretty special. We tolerate their damage in the garden because they are, a threatened species, and we feel honored to have them using our yard regularly, especially this time of the year. When we're transitioning from summer into fall, and especially into winter, that's when we see a lot of eastern spotted skunks in our yard. Not so often in the summer, but once the seasons start to change, they start digging close to the house. So to correct what I said earlier, they're actually not threatened, the eastern spotted skunk. They are a species of greatest conservation need, but either way, they're adorable, and because they are in conservation need, we do tolerate their damage in our yard, and it's mostly digging, and it does get very bad in the fall and winter, but they're not the only ones digging. The raccoons and possums are also digging, but these guys are just the cutest ones, and the lowest population of all the digging creatures in the garden. So we allow it, but if it gets too bad, we do have ways to deter their digging. We're not going to try to get them out of our yard. We want to keep them around because they will eat the roaches and other things that we don't want around. So in order to keep them out of gardens, the same things that deter other digging creatures like raccoons will deter skunks. So we'll use like cayenne pepper, but you have to use a lot of that and reapply every time you water. So that's the downside of cayenne pepper. And another thing that I found that works is when I prune my rose bushes, I take those branches that are covered in thorns and I lay them down in my garden beds where there's been digging where I don't want digging, and that is actually a very effective deterrent. These creatures don't like their little hands getting pricked any more than we like ours getting pricked, so they'll run into those thorns and they'll stop digging, and they'll learn very quickly not to dig in those beds. So cayenne pepper or sharp branches from whatever thorny bush you have in your yard laid down in your garden bed helps to deter the digging. Don't like to hurt their little fingers, but they have the rest of our yard to dig in, honestly. We have a huge area where they can dig. We've got 1 acre. Most of it they can dig in. It's just not our raised beds and not our garden pots, which make up like less than 1/10 of an acre of our full acre. So they've got plenty of spaces to dig in, and they're just being greedy, trying to dig everywhere. But we coexist with them, and so I hope you've been enjoying watching this little guy go in and out under my air conditioning unit. I've been doing a voiceover for this section here, so you're not hearing his or her little tippy tappies, but these are great guys, and we're lucky to have them, and I thank you guys for watching, and happy gardening, everyone.